Welcome to Built to Operate, and I'm Lee Busby. In the last segment, I discussed individual and team sports. Today, I want to discuss the difference between individual performers and team leaders in business. Most people think success in business is a straight line progression. Perform well, get promoted, lead people. But that's not how it works. Because the skills that make someone successful as an individual performer are not always the same skills required to lead a team. There's a massive difference between carrying a personal workload and being responsible for the performance of an entire organization. Both require discipline, standards, and sacrifice. But the accountability structure changes. The emotional environment and the mission changes. Take a top performing salesperson. A great salesperson owns a number. They prospect, they build relationships, and they close deals. Their performance is visible and measurable. The scoreboard tells the truth. Just like a wrestler stepping on the mat alone, a salesperson can't hide from the numbers. Either the deal closed or they didn't. Either the quota was hit or it wasn't. That environment creates personal accountability. It develops self-discipline, it rewards initiative, and it teaches person how to carry responsibility. But then something happens. The company promotes the top performer into leadership, and suddenly the game changes. Now success is no longer measured by personal production. It's measured by the production of other people. That's where many organizations make a mistake. They assume the best producers will automatically become the best leaders. Those are completely different skill sets. A great salesperson can close every deal personally. A sales manager cannot. A great technician can solve every problem himself. A business leader cannot. A high performer succeeds through personal execution. A leader succeeds through coordinated execution. That's the difference. Individual performers create value through performance. Leaders create value through people. And people are messy. People have emotions. People communicate poorly. People misunderstand expectations, and people carry different levels of discipline. That's why leadership is hard. In the individual performer's world, preparation matters most. In leadership, trust becomes operational critical. The sales manager must trust his team is following the process. The operational leader must trust that standards are being maintained when nobody's watching. The business owner must trust that decisions are being made correctly throughout the whole organization. The larger the team becomes, the more important trust becomes. And trust is built through standards, not slogans, not motivational speech, standards. Everybody talks about culture. Very few leaders define acceptable behavior. That's why talented companies fail. Not because they lack talent, because they lack alignment. The highest performing organizations aren't held together by personalities. They're held together by standards. People know what's expected and what's expected of them. People know what happens when the standard is violated. That clarity eliminates friction. Just like team sports, one person lacks of discipline eventually affects everyone else. One person's poor communication slows down the entire operation. One person's ego creates problem for the entire team. And most organization failures happen long before the financial numbers reveal them. Communication erodes, accountability weakens, standards slip, excuses increase. Then everyone acts surprised when performance declines. But the collapse started months earlier. Operators understand this. The goal isn't to create star performers. The employee who consistently executes, the manager who develops people, the leader who protects the standard, the professional who remains steady under pressure. Those people scale organizations. That's why leadership is not the next step after personal success. It's a different mission entirely. The individual performers ask, how do I perform? A leader asks, how do I help others perform? One requires personal discipline. The other requires personal discipline plus the ability to create discipline across a team. And just like sports, life requires both capacities. Sometimes you'll be responsible for your own performance. Other times you'll be responsible for the performance of others. The highest performers can do both. They can execute individually when required, and they can build teams that execute without them. And that's rare, because most people want authority without responsibility, or responsibility without accountability. Operators understand you need both. Individual discipline creates capability. Leadership discipline creates scale. One builds performance, the other builds organizations. And never confuse being great at the job with being ready to lead the people doing the job. They're not the same mission. So remember, being great at the job and being great at leading people are two different skills. Individual performance creates results, but leadership creates scale. First, master yourself, then learn to develop others. Because the goal isn't to be the star performer, it's to build a team that can execute the mission. If you found value in today's discussion, subscribe to the channel and join the conversation in the comments. Until next time, operate with intentions.